we're going to take a look at what the characteristics of life are. All living things exhibit certain qualities in order to be considered a living thing. So living things are organized, they acquire materials and energy, they reproduce, they respond to stimuli, they're homeostatic, they exhibit growth and development, and have the capacity to adapt to their surroundings. Let's look at these a little bit more in depth. First of all living things are organized. We found out in chemistry last year, and you knew this before probably, that everything in the universe is composed of atoms, and atoms go together to make up molecules. Now, atoms and molecules are not considered alive, but cells are. Cells are the basic unit of structure and function for living organisms. So atoms make up molecules, molecules make up cells. Here's our living structure. So cells in multicellular organisms are going to compose tissues, and tissues are a bunch of cells with a similar function. Tissues go together to make up organs. Organs make up organ systems, and organ systems are going to ultimately make up an organism. So it's very complex at the organism level. The cellular level is a little bit less complex. All living things also need a form of energy, a source of energy and materials in order to keep the chemical reactions going in order to maintain life. So energy comes from an outside source, whether it's sunlight with photosynthesis, whether you're taking in food, it has an outside source to help run our life activities. Living things also exhibit growth and development. Now, single-celled organisms can grow in size, and some of our cells grow in size as well, but we reproduce in numbers of cells in order to exhibit growth and development as well. Development, we changed a lot from a single-celled organism during conception, at the end of conception, all the way to death. There's developmental processes that go on in all living organisms, whether animals, plants, whatever they are. Reproduction is what carries on a species. Now, that doesn't mean that an organism within a species who can't reproduce is not considered alive. It means that the species as a whole is considered able to reproduce, to carry on the organism. Homeostasis means staying the same in the internal environment, and we have to maintain homeostasis in order to maintain internal environments that can support the chemical reactions that keep us alive. And organisms respond to stimuli, and this is external stimuli, whether a single-celled organism or a plant or an animal. We respond in different ways to our environment, and we're going to talk about that as we go throughout the year in biology. That leads us to cells. We're going to talk so much about cells in this next quarter. Cells are divided into two main groups, and those two main groups are either prokaryotic or eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are early cells. Pro is early, and they're very simple. They have no membrane-bound organelles at all, and bacteria is our only example of this. So prokaryotes, no membrane-bound organelles, and bacteria is our example. If you're not a bacteria, then you are a eukaryotic cell or comprised of eukaryotic cells. And these are the cells that we're probably most familiar with. They have membrane-bound organelles, and that's what makes us up. Now, we're going to learn about prokaryotic cells and what they're made up of, what domains that they make up, eukaryotic cells as well, and this is where we'll spend the majority of our time looking at the cellular processes within these cells.